Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to start a new chapter. The name of the chapter is nuclei. This is one of the important topic in class 12th and very important for the students who are preparing for NEET and JEE. So we are going to start this chapter. So before starting this chapter, let me explain the term. What is the term nuclei? So basically the nuclei is the plural of the term nucleus. So nuclei, the term nuclei is the plural of nucleus. So basically we are going to study about the nucleus in detail, okay, in this chapter. So first we are going to start with the composition of the nucleus. We need to study about the composition of the nucleus. Composition of the nucleus. So these are the some important points regarding the composition of the nucleus. The first point is the nucleus is very small in size. The first point is the very small volume, the very small volume where whole mass where whole mass of an atom is concentrated is known as nucleus. So basically nucleus is the central part of any atom. If you have studied about the chapter atom, in which we have studied about the structure of the atom and different models, we have seen the nucleus is the central part of any atom, and the size of the nucleus is very small, and the most of the mass of the atom is concentrated at the central part, which is known as nucleus. Concentrated is called nucleus. It was discovered by Rutherford after alpha ray scattering experiment. It was discovered by Rutherford. The second point about the nucleus is positively charged. Nucleus is positively charged. The third point is the constituent particles of the nucleus. So proton and neutron are the constituent particles. So the constituent particles of the nucleus are proton and neutron. Proton P, which is positively charged, and neutron, which is neutral. So as a whole the nucleus is positively charged, and neutron I'm suppose writing by, and you can write down these particles are known as nucleons. These particles means these constituent particles, protons and neutrons, are known as nucleons. And we know about the mass of the proton and neutron. The mass of proton mp, suppose we are writing, then mass of proton, it is equal to 1.67262 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg, and mass of the neutron, which is slightly more than mass of the proton, and it is equal to mass of neutron is equal to 1.6749 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So mass of neutron is slightly more than the mass of the proton. Next is the atomic number. First we will see what is atomic number. So first, how we can represent a nucleus. So a nucleus is represented by this symbol. So an element or a nucleus we can represent by this symbol. A nucleus can be represented by this symbol X. X is a nucleus of any element or an atom. Z, A. Okay. Or by this symbol also we can write down X, Z, A, where X is the nucleus of any atom. And what is A here? Here A is known as, A is basically your atomic mass number. Atomic mass number, which is basically equal to number of protons plus number of neutrons. Number of protons and number of neutrons is equal to atomic mass number A. So A we can write down number of protons, suppose I'm writing by NP, and number of neutron I'm writing NN. This is your equation number 1. And Z is known as atomic number. Z is your atomic number, and it is equal to simply number of protons in the nucleus. Number of protons, NP. This is your equation number 2. If you are, or if you will analyze this equation 1 and 2, then we can find out the number of neutrons. A is equal to number of protons. From this equation you can see A is equal to number of protons, and number of protons can be written as Z plus number of neutron. So we can find out the number of neutron. So number of neutron, it will be equal to atomic mass number A minus atomic number Z. So this is one of the important result here. Here, by using this formula, we can easily calculate the number of neutrons in a nucleus. Number of neutrons, it will be simply equal to atomic mass number minus atomic number. So this is a basic idea about the nucleus. Now we will move further. So the next topic uh, in this chapter, we are going to define some terms. Like the first term is isotopes. So we are going to define this term, isotopes. What are the isotopes? So the first term is isotopes. First we are going to define this term, isotopes. So isotopes are basically nuclides or nucleus having same atomic number but different mass number. So isotopes we define as nuclides having same atomic number but different mass number are known as isotopes. Example we can take this hydrogen nucleus of the hydrogen atom 1H1. Then this is known as protium. Then we have another hydrogen atom, nucleus of another hydrogen atom 2H1 1H2, that is known as deuterium. And third is the tritium 1H3. tritium. You can see there their atomic number is same. 1 1 1 atomic number is same. The lower part is representing the atomic number and upper part 1 2 3 they are representing the atomic mass number. So they have the different atomic mass number but their atomic number is same. So such type of nucleus they are known as isotopes. Now second term is isobars. Second term we are going to define is isobars. So isobars are basically the nucleides having same mass number but different atomic number, just reverse of the previous case. So the nucleides having same mass number but different atomic number are known as isobars. So example we can take. The example of isobars are this hydrogen nucleus 1H3 that is your tritium and this helium nucleus 3,2He. You can see their atomic number is 1 and 2 that is different and atomic mass number 3 and 3 both are same. Another example is calcium 20 40 atomic number is 20 atomic mass number is 40 and this argon Ar it is atomic mass number is 40 same but atomic mass number is different 18. So these are the isobars. Next is your isotones. The third point in this chapter or in this discussion is third is your isotones. Isotones. So isotones are basically the nucleus having same number of neutrons. So isotones nucleides having same number of neutrons are known as isotones. So what are the isotones? Nuclei having same number of neutrons are known as isotones. Example we can take. Example is calcium and potassium we can take. Example we can take or simply we can take the example of these atoms. Same number of neutron. Carbon we can take. Carbon C614 and oxygen 816. You can see there in this case number of neutrons we can calculate 14 minus 6 that is equal to 8 and here also 16 minus 8 the number of neutrons 8. So they are basically your isotones because they have the same number of neutrons. Next is your isomers. Next is your isomers. Isomers. So isomers are the nucleus or nucleides having same atomic number and mass number but existing in different states but existing in different states. Different states means suppose one is existing in gaseous state then other will exist in liquid state or solid state. So in case of isomers the nucleus will have the same atomic number mass number same but they will exist in different states. Okay, now next is atomic masses. So first we are going to the next term in this chapter is atomic mass. So next term is atomic mass. Okay, we have this topic, atomic mass. So atomic mass unit, first we are going to define uh, how we can measure the mass of the nucleus, or in which unit the mass of the nucleus is measured. So basically the mass of the nucleus is measured in different unit, and the unit is unified atomic mass or simply atomic mass unit. We are writing by AMU. So atomic mass unit, first we are going to define. The first term is atomic mass unit, and we are writing by AMU, atomic mass unit, and it is defined as, it is defined as 1 by 12th of mass of C12 atom. C12 atom. So basically atomic mass unit, it is equal to 1U. 1U means 1 atomic mass unit. It is basically 1 by 12th of mass of C12 atom. So now we can easily calculate. In case of C12 atom, C612, the number of protons are 6, number of neutrons are also 6. So we can easily calculate what will be the total mass of the nucleus of C12 atom. 1 by 12th into mass of C612. So 1U, it will be equal to 1 by 12th into the mass of nucleus of C612. The number of protons are 6. So we can write down 6 into mass of proton plus 6 into mass of neutron. And we know the mass of the proton and neutron. Just put the value here. So 1U, it will be equal to 1 by 12th into 6 into mass of proton. Mass of proton is 1.6262 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg plus 6 into mass of neutron, it is 1.6749 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. After solving this, we will get 1U, means 1 atomic mass unit. It is equal to 1 by 12th into 1.992678 into 10 to the power minus 26 kg. Now when we will divide with 12, we will get the value of 1U. So 1U, it will be basically 1.660565 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So this is the value of 1 atomic mass unit, and we are going to measure the mass of all the nucleus and all the nucleides, all the nuclei in this unit of measurement. So basically 1U is equal to 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. The next term here is size of the nucleus. Now next we are going to calculate what is the size of the nucleus. So experimental observations show that the volume of a nucleus is directly proportional to its mass number. So the next term we are going to see is size of the nucleus. Size of the nucleus. So experimental experimental observations so that volume of a nucleus is directly proportional is directly proportional to its mass number. Mass number is represented by the symbol A. So we can write down volume of the nucleus, or the volume V is directly proportional to A. Now, if the shape of the nucleus is spherical, then its volume will be 4 by 3 pi r cube. So 4 by 3 pi r cube, it will be directly proportional to A. Okay. Now, if we are taking 4 by 3 pi as a constant, so directly we can write down r cube is basically directly proportional to A. Okay, when we will take the power 1 by 3 both side, then r cube will become r and it will become a to the power 1 by 3. Or when you are removing this proportionality constant, then we can write down r naught into a to the power 1 by 3. So basically the size of nucleus can be determined by its radius if it is a spherical in shape, and the size is directly proportional, or the radius of the nucleus is directly proportional to its mass number to the power 1 by 3. Here the value of r naught, that is a proportionality constant, r naught is equal to 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 15 meter, which is a proportionality constant, is a proportionality constant. Now next we are going to calculate about the density. What is the density of the nucleus and in which factor, or on which factor it is depending. So next is your nuclear density. So density in general term we define mass per unit volume. So nuclear density similarly we can define nuclear density. Suppose I'm writing by the symbol rho. So basically nuclear density is mass per unit volume. So density in general term we define density by the term mass per unit volume. So density equals to mass per unit volume. Okay. Now suppose the mass of one nucleon is, I'm writing m, and total number of nucleons we know it is represented by A. So we can easily calculate the nuclear density. Nuclear density rho will be equal to mass we can write down by small m into capital A, where m is the mass of one nucleon. Mass of one nucleon, because the mass of proton and neutron both are nearly same, and A is the number of nucleon, that is atomic mass number. A is equal to number of nucleon. So and volume we can write down by 4 by 3 pi r cube. If the nucleus is a spherical in shape, then the volume of a sphere, it is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Now just we have derived the value of radius of the nucleus, so we can replace the value of r here. So 4 by 3 pi r cube we can replace, r is equal to r naught into a to the power 1 by 3 cube. So when we will simplify, it will become m into a divided by 4 by 3 pi r naught cube into a. A will be cancelled out. So nuclear density rho will be equal to m divided by 4 by 3 pi into r naught cube, or it will be equal to 3 by 4 into small m divided by pi into r naught cube. Now clearly you can see there from this equation all the terms are constant. 3 by 4 is a number, m is the mass of one nucleon, either proton or neutron we can take. Pi is again a constant 3.14, and r naught is a constant. The value of r naught, just we have find out, the value of r naught is equal to r naught is equal to 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 15 meter. So after putting all these values, let me put all the values. Rho will be equal to 3 by 4 multiplied with a small m, mass of one nucleon. We can write down it is equal to 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg, approximate value we are taking. Pi is equal to 3.14. R naught is equal to 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 15 cube. This value will come out to be 2.30 into 10 to the power 17 kg per meter cube, which is very high. You can see the power is 17. If you are just comparing its density, nuclear density, with the density of the density of water is 1000 kg per meter cube, means 10 to the power 3, and here we are taking 10 to the power 17 kg per meter cube. So basically 10 to the power 14 times, the density of the nucleus is 10 to the power 14 times more than the density of water. Nuclear density is very high, because the most of the mass of the atom is basically concentrated at the nucleus at very small space. Your volume is very small, and mass that is concentrated within that volume is quite high. So the nuclear density is very high. Value we have calculated 2.30 into 10 to the power 17 kg per meter cube, and it will be a constant. It is independent of atomic number, atomic mass number, size of the nucleus. It is always constant for all of the nucleus, all of the nuclei. If you are taking the nucleus of any atom, its nuclear density will be a constant, and the value is 2.30 into 10 to the power 17 kg per meter cube. The next term in this chapter is mass energy conversion, again which is very important in this chapter. The next is mass energy conversion. So according to Einstein equation, famous equation, E is equal to mc square. uh, Mass is basically another form of energy, and one can convert mass into energy, into other forms of energy, say kinetic energy and vice versa. So basically we are getting the energy in case of nucleus when where mass is converted into energy. According to the Einstein equation, E is equal to mc square, where m is the mass equivalent to energy. So directly we can calculate what will be the relationship between mass and energy. So we have one famous equation, E equals to mc square. E equals to mc square. So according to Einstein, mass is another form of energy. Another form of energy. Mass is not energy, but mass can be converted into energy, and one can easily convert mass energy, means energy of the mass energy, into other form of energy, say kinetic energy. We can convert mass energy into kinetic energy, Ke, and vice versa. We can convert Ke also into mass energy, and vice versa. Here m is giving you the mass and E is the energy equivalent to mass. Here basically the term E is energy equivalent to mass m, and here c is the speed of light. C is the speed of light. Now we are going to calculate what will be the energy equivalent to 1 U, means 1 atomic mass unit. So let me take m is equal to 1 U. Now next we are going to calculate the energy equivalent to 1 U. So let m is equal to 1 U. 1 U means 1 atomic mass unit, and the value of 1 U is equal to, approximate value I am taking, 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. Okay, what will be the energy equivalent to this mass? Now we are using this equation, E equals to mc square. Okay, now just put the value of m, 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg multiplied with c, speed of light 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. In air or vacuum it is a square, so square. So energy will be calculated in joule here because we have used the SI system of unit. So the energy that we will obtain here is joule. But basically we are using electron volt as a unit of energy in modern physics. Everywhere we will take the unit of energy as electron volt. So we can convert this energy in electron volt also just by dividing with 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. E is equal to 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 27 into 3 square 9, 10 to the power 8 square, it is 10 to the power 16, it is in joule. When we will divide this with the value 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19, it will be converted into electron volt, because 1 electron volt it is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule. So when we will calculate this energy will, the value of energy will be 931 into 10 to the power 6 electron volt, and this term 10 to the power 6, it is represented by mega electron volt or mega electron volt we can write down. So basically it will be equal to 931 mega electron volt, or approximate value is basically its value is 931.5 mega electron volt if you will calculate more specifically. So the energy released due to the conversion of 1 U means 1 atomic mass unit into energy, it will be equal to 931 mega electron volt. This energy is quite very high compared to very less mass. Mass is 10 to the power minus 27 basically we are taking, and energy quite high we are getting. Similarly, we can calculate the mass equivalent to 1 gram also. Let me calculate what will be the mass equivalent to 1 gram. Okay, so the next we are going to calculate what will be the mass, what will be the energy equivalent to 1 gram of mass. So let me take, let here I am taking mass is equal to 1 gram, and let's find out what will be the energy equivalent to this mass. Using this equation, E is equal to mc square. Mass is equal to 1 gram. 1 gram when it is converted into kilogram, just divide it with 1000, 10 to the power 3. It will be converted into kg multiplied with the speed of light 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, square is there, so put the value square. So it will be equal to 3 square 9, 10 to the power 8 square, 10 to the power 16 divided with 10 to the power 3. So the value of energy is 9 into 10 to the power 16 minus 10 to the power 3, it is 10 to the power 13 joule, which is quite very high. Okay, very very high. Basically when we are burning, because 1000 or 2000 kilogram of coal or petroleum or another conventional sources of energy, they can produce this amount of energy, 9 into 10 to the power 13 joule. But when 1 gram of mass of atomic mass basically it is converted into energy, it can produce 9 into 10 to the power 13 joule. So the comparison you can see there, when we are burning 2000 kg of coal, it is producing 9 into 10 to the power 13 joule. But when we are just converting 1 gram of atomic mass unit, or when 1 gram of any nucleus is converted into energy, its energy equivalent is 9 into 10 to the power 13 joule. Similarly, this value can be converted in terms of electron volt and mega electron volt. So now next is the nuclear binding energy. Before discussing the nuclear binding energy, let me discuss one term, very important term, that is mass defect. Okay. The next term is mass defect. It is represented by delta M. Let me define this term first, then we will go in detail. So mass defect is basically the difference in the mass of a nucleus, in the mass of a nucleus and its constituents, and its constituents means protons and neutrons, is called mass defect, called mass defect. It is represented by delta M, and this value is given by this formula. Mass defect delta M, it is equal to, first we are going to calculate the mass of the constituent particles of the nucleus. Z is the number of proton multiplied with mass of proton, plus A minus Z, it is giving you the number of neutrons, and mass of neutron is Mn. This is the mass of the constituent particle of the nucleus minus mass of the nucleus. Okay, here we can calculate mass of the nucleus, capital M. Okay, so this is giving you the mass defect. So basically, suppose we are taking this nucleus, here you can see there, suppose this is your nucleus, here X, let me take with the bold letter, this is your X, you can see there, Z, A, this is your nucleus, suppose this is your nucleus, and mass of the nucleus I am writing by capital M. Capital M is the mass of the nucleus. Now what will be the mass of its constituent particles? Z is giving you the number of protons, and A minus Z, it is giving you the number of neutrons. So we can calculate the combined mass of the protons and neutrons. The number of proton is equal to Z and its mass is mp, then Z into mp. Number of neutrons A minus Z, and mass of one neutron is Mn. When we will add, we will get the combined mass of the constituent particles, and the mass of the nucleus is M. Basically there is a difference when proton and neutron both together, they are combining to form the nucleus. Their mass before the nucleus is formed is more than the mass which is obtained after formation of the nucleus. So this difference of the mass is basically known as mass defect, and basically according to Einstein equation, this mass is basically converted into energy which is utilized in binding the nucleons together. So this is the mass defect. Now next we are going to calculate this binding energy. Okay, the next term is binding energy. The next term is binding energy. Binding energy. We are writing by the symbol EB. So binding energy is basically the total energy required, the total energy required in order to bind in order to bind in order to bind the nucleons together together inside a nucleus inside a nucleus is known as binding energy. Okay, and this binding energy basically we are getting, it is a certain number of if a certain number of neutrons and protons are uh, brought together to form a nucleus at certain change of certain change and mass, and energy EB will be released. Okay, so binding energy we can calculate. The binding energy just I have explained. This binding energy we will get when the nucleus is formed, when certain number of protons and neutrons are coming together to form the nucleus. Some of the masses some of the mass is converted into energy, and that energy is required for binding the nucleons together inside the nucleus. So this binding energy basically it will be equal to, this binding energy we will obtain from the mass defect, or energy equivalent to the mass defect. So this binding energy EB it will be equal to delta M into C square, where delta M is your mass defect. Mass defect. So this is the expression of binding energy. Now the next term is binding energy per nucleon. Okay. Why we are calculating binding energy per nucleon? Binding energy per nucleon is calculated in order to find out the stability of a nucleus, whether the nucleus is stable or not. Because the binding energy per nucleon, if the value of binding energy per nucleon it will be more for a certain nucleus, then its nucleus will be more stable, means the nucleons are more tightly held inside the nucleus. So next term is binding energy per nucleon. Binding energy per nucleon. So binding energy per nucleon, it is represented by EBN, and its value is binding energy divided by number of nucleons divided by number of nucleons. Okay, so suppose binding energy we are writing by symbol EB, and the number of nucleons is basically the atomic mass number A. So EB divided by A, it is known as binding energy per nucleon. Now next term is packing fraction. Packing fraction. Okay, PF, packing fraction. Okay, and the packing fraction of a nucleus is its mass defect per nucleon. Packing fraction of a nucleus is its mass defect is its mass defect per nucleon per nucleon. So basically packing fraction, mathematically we can write down packing fraction PF, it will be equal to mass defect means delta M divided by number of nucleons. Number of nucleons it is equal to A. Now if packing fraction PF is positive is positive or basically it is positive, packing fraction is positive for this atomic mass number. For A less than 20, the value of packing fraction will be positive, and A greater than 200. Okay, so nuclei is unstable. If packing fraction is positive, then nuclei will be unstable. So nuclei is unstable in this case. And if this packing fraction is negative, which is negative for it is calculated, packing fraction PF is negative for this 20A 200. When the atomic mass number lies between 20 and 200, the packing fraction is negative, and in this case the nuclei is stable. Nuclei is stable. Okay, so this is some of the important points regarding the nucleus, and hopefully you have understood this concept, important concept or important terms in this chapter. So just we have started this video, this chapter basically we have started. When we will come, we will see the next terms in this chapter. So today basically we have studied about the composition of the nucleus. We have seen about the nucleus, what are the composition of the nucleus, then size of the nucleus, nuclear density we have calculated, mass defect we have calculated, what is mass defect, and what is mass energy equivalence relationship, and we have seen the binding energy per nucleon, and packing fraction. So that's all from the today's video. Thank you everyone.